Hey there, it's Josh, and today I want to go over firewalls with you. The general ideas of a firewall, such as what a firewall is and what a firewall does, are pretty simple in nature, and I want to break those down with you today, so let's begin. We're talking about firewalls today. Now, what I want to cover is really three basic things here, right? What is a firewall? What does a firewall do? And what kind of firewalls are there? And we're going to kind of do this through a variety of different steps. Now, the big question, right, is what is a firewall? An easy way to explain this, right, is it's a network security device that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic. And that's, again, a baseline explanation, but we're going to kind of get into more examples of that. Next question, what does a firewall do? It acts as a barrier between a trusted internal network and an untrusted external network. And then lastly, we have different kinds of firewalls, and this is a good list of the kinds that you will often hear about between host-based, network, application, proxy, cloud, and definitely more. Now that we got a few of those explanations out of the way, what does a firewall do? Let's take a look at this picture. Now, it may seem a little outlandish to compare a firewall to a castle, but stick with me here. As you may know, castles were designed and built to protect royalty and those that oversee the kingdom. While castles may have been done away with medieval times, they still help us understand how a firewall operates. And so if you look close at the doors of a castle, you may notice that just like with any other doors, similarly to a firewall, those doors of a castle will control who comes in and who goes out. As mentioned, the castle was built and designed to protect the rulers of the kingdom. Drawing that to a firewall, we have what's called ingress and egress traffic. Ingress traffic is traffic that is coming in or inbound. And similarly, egress traffic is traffic that is leaving or outbound. And so piecing this all together, similar to a castle and a firewall, where we're wanting to control what comes in, what goes out, we're going to use rules. Now, in olden times, that list may have contained names or occupations or status, but firewalls can operate on a variety of parameters such as destination or original location, or possibly what exactly they're wanting to talk about. So I hope that this broke it down and made firewalls just a little bit more digestible, but I got more for you. Let's keep going. Okay, so now that we laid the groundwork for our understanding of what a firewall is and what a firewall does, let's go into an actual example of a host-based firewall. If you recall earlier in our training, we discussed that there are several different kinds of firewalls, but for the sake of simplicity and for our example, let's begin with a host-based firewall. On my screen, what you can see here is Windows Defender Firewall with advanced security. This is a host-based firewall that comes native, right? It comes already built into the Windows 10 operating system. And so on the left here are inbound and outbound rules. If you recall from our further in-depth explanation with the castle, is that we have inbound and outbound or ingress and egress traffic, right? That communication comes in and it goes out. And so to demonstrate how a firewall operates or what the rules perform as far as, stopping or allowing traffic, we're going to use what's called ping. Ping is a utility of sorts, and for our specific example, we're going to use it to test communication. We're going to try to say hello to the outside world and hopefully get a response back. And so what we have is Windows command prompt, right, that we have open here. And what we're going to do is type in ping, and then we're going to type in the IP address. Since it's a Google server, it's external to my network, meaning that it's not within my local area network. It's not connected within my house. We need to cross the internet to be able to reach it. And so we're going to use ping to test that. And so when we hit enter, we see a variety of text come through. But what we want to focus on here is the reply. And it says reply from that 8.8.8.8, meaning that we're saying hello and they're saying hello back, which means that we can reach them. In this example, what we're wanting to do is stop that from happening, right? We want to block that communication. There are times where you want to block ping traffic, but for this example, we're just doing it to stop communication. There's not really too much of a rhyme or reason, but for the sake of a simple example here. What we're going to do is, now that we're on our outbound rules, we're going to go to the top right and click new rule. And what this is going to do is add a new rule. As you can see behind this window here, all of these are individualized rules. So before we create that new rule, what we have is our outbound rules, And these are all individual rule sets that have a variety of parameters explaining what it does. Now let's go into our new rule. There's different kind of rule sets that you can create. We're going to create a custom rule here. We're going to go ahead and set it to all programs. Again, we're trying to block ping. Now ping uses the ICMP protocol. And so what we're going to do is select that ICMP version 4, hit next. And what we're doing here is specifying what IP addresses or what hosts we're wanting to apply this to. And so we're going to go ahead and select any IP address, meaning that it's going to try and block it from any IP address. And we're going to say block this connection. That's the action we want it to take. And we're wanting it to apply to all network profiles. And so let's go ahead and give it a name. Let's just type in block ping. And so again, let's go to our utility here. And remember, as we did before, we'll type in ping and then that IP address. And you'll see here now we're getting a general failure. And that's because we created that new rule that is blocking it. A very simple example, right? And then if we want to undo that, just for our proof of concept here, instead of deleting it, why don't we just disable the rule, meaning that it's no longer enforced. Up arrow again to repeat that command, and you'll see, boom, we got it back. Again, a very simple example, but shows that there's rule sets going on here that's saying if it meets this condition, we're going to perform this action. And so in this case, if it uses ICMP, and it's an outbound destination or form of traffic communication, we're going to go ahead and block it. Lastly, I wanted to close with a sincere thank you for watching this training, and hopefully this helped explain that concept a little bit further, and now you're left with understanding what a firewall is and firewall does. Now, I know that there's a lot more involved in there, and hopefully you can stick around and we can cover a lot more together. Thank you.